Recreating the geometry of a building in a CFD software might take hours, if not days. Today I'm gonna share with you a workflow that might save you hours, if not days, and it's gonna be focused on FDS and how to get a geometry of a building into this software, spending not so much time. So today I'm gonna share with you how we can save all this time using some advanced automation tools that are all open and free to use, so it's gonna cost you $0. Some of them are driven from artificial intelligence, others are just simple Python scripts that have been developed by other colleagues of mine and are gonna make your life much easier. Before starting, let me introduce myself. I'm Professor Rino and have over 10 years experience in research in fire protection engineering, especially in evacuation modeling. And today I'm gonna share with you all the stuff that I've discovered in the last couple of weeks. So let's go and have a look at them. So the focus of this tutorial is to get something up and running in FDS. FDS stands for Fire Dynamic Simulator. It's a really powerful CFD software developed to simulate the spread of smoke and fire inside a building geometry. It was developed by the Fire Division at the National Institute of Standard Technology back in the USA, where I've been working several times, so really nice place to do research. FDS is a large eddy simulation code for low-speed flow, and the tool was designed focusing on heat transfer and fires. It can be used for many other applications, but always be careful on the main assumption behind this software. For instance, I've even seen a crazy guy using it to simulate pizza fire oven. Yes, sorry, that guy was me. But yes, seriously, it can be used for many interesting simulations that can help in doing really good design for fire protection engineering. If you go on their website, you can see that there is a lot that you can use to learn how to use this tool. You can see here that you have a download section, you have the documentation section, and the other cool things that you will find here, it's the possibility to go to the GitHub page, and that's the best plot you can go if you have questions, and you will see that there is a really active community ready to give you an answer to really common problems, or if you have new problems, just share with the community and all of us are gonna try to do their best to give you some answer and some possible solution for your personalized problem. What we actually do in FDS whenever we import a geometry is to discretize this geometry in little cubes. So if we can zoom in any simulation, you will see that there is a Cartesian grid that allow you to recreate your building using the resolution of this grid. And in other words, basically FDS is Minecraft for grown-ups like us. The full process I'm gonna describe today can actually be done just using Pyrosim. I have already made a video using Pyrosim. If you want to know more about the workflow using Pyrosim, just check the last video that I published not many weeks ago. And I need to mention that they don't sponsor this video, or they didn't sponsor the previous video, but I'm really grateful to them for sharing a free academic license for me. Thank you, Thundered Engineering, for all your support. Today we are using alternative tools. They are all open and free to use by anyone. And to automate our process, of course, we are going to use BIM. BIM stands for Building Information Modeling. It's basically a smart 3D model of a building in which you have all the information, not only about the geometry of every single elements of the building, but all the property of these elements. So it's an enriched database of a building. Today we are gonna use AFC files that are open file that can be used to have a BIM information. If you open one of these files, you will soon recognize that is a text file with a lot of lines describing every component of a building and the property associated with that specific component. So as I mentioned before, we are gonna use different tools. The tool that we are gonna use are listed here on the top of my browser. So the first one is Amplify, and it's a really nice online tool that allows you to convert PDF into BIM files in a AFC or Revit format. To be honest, I've just tried the EFC conversion, never tried the Revit one. If you got any information about the conversion in Revit, please let us know in the comments. The other tool that we are going to use in our free workflow is Blender. Blender is a really powerful and free tool for 3D simulation and 3D modeling. It's really powerful in do rendering and many other advanced stuff. You can even do VR and AR stuff using Blender, and you can see that it's relatively easy to get installed on Windows machine. You need just to download the file and install it any other traditional software. The other two software that we are gonna use today are basically some plugins available for free into Blender. The first one used to be called Blender BIM, and today has been rebranded and called as a Bonsai. You can see it on my browser here, and there is a lot of documentation on how to use it and all the awesome things that you can do. It's basically an open version of Revit. You can see that you have the possibility to do a lot of sketching using Blender and using this beautiful plugin to recreate the geometry of a building, or you can just use it in this tutorial just to do data conversion, as I'm gonna show you in a few minutes. The other tool that we are gonna use today is what used to be Blender FDS. From this week, we have a new tool, the son of Blender FDS, that is BFDS, developed by my dear colleague Emanuele Gisic. Thanks Emanuele for creating this tool and make it available for free for the rest of the world. We really love you. So as you can see in the website of Blender FDS, actually BFDS now, there is quite a lot of good documentation put there for us by Emanuele. And you can see that Italy did a good job sponsoring this project. So thank you the Italian government for supporting in the creation of this tool. So if we go and we press on quick start, you will see that there are a lot of information about what you need to know to install Blender FDS. I should stop calling Blender FDS, BFDS, and how you can do some Hello World project just to start learning to burn stuff using this beautiful tool. And of course, the final tool that we are gonna use today is FDS to run actually the simulation. We are not gonna spend much time on FDS. There is a lot of documentation, user manual. You can go and check many other tutorials that are already on YouTube. If you want more material about FDS simulation, just ask in the comment and we will manage to create a new video for you. So today we are gonna use this floor plan that I found from the web. It's a relatively small apartment with the dining area, a bedroom, bathroom, and some walk-in wardrobes here. So we are gonna start with this and convert it in a BIM file. If you have already a EFC file of your building for your project, you can skip this part and go directly to the Blender part. So let's go and have a look how we can convert this floor plan into an EFC file using the first tool. So what I'm gonna do in this first step is to drag and drop my PDF file in Amplify. You can see that it has already plotted different plans. We are gonna just use the first one in this PDF. And I have already done a tutorial explaining all the other features of this software, so you might want to go and check this video as well. So let's see the results here. He has already detected that the floor is 1 out of 100. I'm gonna agree with the condition and start Amplify, and you'll see that in a few seconds we are gonna have a wonderful 3D representation of the building. I can zoom in just to show you the details of these beautiful results here, so you can explore and see, he has put even a bed and here's some item in the toilet, and we are gonna be good to go to export it in IFC format. So you can see that I'm gonna save it in my project folder, and it's gonna be the only IFC file in that folder at this stage. I've already installed Blender, and this is the latest version that you will be capable to install today. It's 4.5.3, and I'm pretty sure the same tutorial will work out with the future version. We'll need probably some small adjustment. I can tell you already in advance that Blender, it's a bit overwhelming for me, but today I'm gonna give you the right tips so you don't get confused. So just be with me and follow all the steps that I'm doing, and you won't get lost in my workflow. So let's go and have a look how we can install the plugin we mentioned before. We are gonna need both Bonsai and Blender FDS. So you can see here that we can go to Edits right here in Preference, and what we are gonna be needed is to go to Adds On and start typing Bonsai. So you can see that Bonsai add-on is here. We need just to install it. This processing might take a few seconds or few minutes depending on your internet speed, because it's relatively big package. So let's go and have a look how long it's gonna take for it. So you can see that my browser is, so you can see that Blender here, it's doing an installation. You can see that my cursor is transforming a spiral, and And let's wait another few seconds and see if the tool gets installed correctly. So you can see that Bonsai has been installed and it's here. We can open and see what we have been installing. So you can see that Bonsai has been installed. In fact, you can see all these new elements that have been added to the Blender interface, and they are really useful to do drafting of your building the same way that you will do using Revit, but you can do it now in Blender and it's for free. So if you want a tutorial on this specific tool, just let me know in the comments and I'll do it for you. So let's go and have a look how we can install instead the BFDS. So we need to go to Edit and Preference. Soon it will be as an extension like Bonsai. If we try to search it now, it's not gonna appear here, but probably it's gonna be there in a couple of weeks. Emanuele told me that that's what is gonna happen soon. Since it's not here yet, so we can try to use it the alternative method using the add-ons option. So in this case, we will need to install it from our disk. But before doing it, we need to go and install the package. So I suggest you to go to this release page where you're gonna find the BFDS version 7. So this is the URL that you need to type. I'm gonna put it in the description below here in this video. So I suggest you to download the zip file in the same working folder we were using before. I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna go back to my Blender and install this new package. So you can see we are back here on Blender. We need to go to add-on, then you click on this small arrow here, and we are gonna go to install from disk. And what I'm gonna do is to go to the folder where I save my zip file and go ahead with the installation. So we are in the folder I was mentioning before. This is the zip file we just downloaded from the web, and I'm gonna double click on it and allow the package to be installed, and you can see it's all there ready to be used in our Blender. So you can see here on the right hand side that there are some new tabs that have been added that are connected with the BFDS, so it means that the installation went well. So now the next step for us is to go ahead with our automation workflow and see how we can transform the IFC files that we got generated before into a FDS geometry. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is to activate some key. So you're gonna be able to see what I'm clicking on my keyboard and what I'm doing with my mouse. I'm gonna just activate these other add-ons, so you will see that all the stuff that I'm doing with my mouse and keyboard are gonna be displayed in this part of the screen. So let's close this panel, pressing N. See, it's gone. So we are just half of the workflow, and I hope you don't mind supporting this channel by pressing like and subscribe below here. It's really useful for us to receive your support so we can generate a new free video for you to help the fire protection engineering community. So help us by supporting this channel. And let's go and have a look at the project. You'll see that in the standard project there is a camera, there is a cube, and there is a light source. I'm gonna press A to select all these items. You can see here they get all activated, and press delete to create an empty file. So what I'm gonna do then is to go to files and import, and you'll see that now we have the possibility to import, thanks to Bonsai, an AFC file. So I'm gonna click on it. So now I'm gonna go and search my folder where I saved the IFC file. We are here into the folder, and you can see that it's able to recognize the IFC file, and I'm gonna load it in my project. So you can see the IFC file has been loaded in Blender, and you can use the middle button of your mouse to rotate it, zoom in, zoom out, and explore the EFC file. And of course you can select all the components, and you will see that this is basically the list of all the elements that we have in our EFC file. To be honest, I don't like to have this hierarchy here. I'm gonna try to put it on this part of the screen so you need to be a bit careful not to create a mess. Let's try to do it together. I'm gonna basically close this area here, and then I'm gonna click here on the right hand side. You can see that the screen is gonna be split in two parts. Now you have two visualization of the 3D model. Then you go and click on this icon here, and we select outlier. So you can see here all the hierarchy of our EFC, and whenever you select an element, you can identify it here, and on the other side you will see all the characteristic of the EFC file that you're opening. So if you want, you can have a bit of cleanup if you decide only to keep the geometry of the building and get rid of the remaining IFC or BIM information that you are not really gonna use that in FDS. So in this case, you can see that there are information about the site. I can select it and press delete to remove it. So you can see that in my case, for instance, I'm not gonna use in this tutorial the spaces. I'm gonna select them and remove all this stuff, and I'm gonna try to end up only with the elements that are gonna be useful to build the geometry of my FDS simulation. So in this case, you can see that there are all the doors. They're called IFC doors. So you can see that the furniture, and this is basically the bed, is there. In my case, I'm not really gonna use it. I'm gonna remove it, and here you have the slab, the sink, and the toilet, the WC, that we can both get removed. So you can see now we have all the walls and all the opening. So how we can now transform this geometry into a FDS geometry? It's time to start using BFDS. So let's go and have a look for a single element. So I'm gonna click here the top slab, and if you want, you can make it invisible. In that case, it will allow you to look inside. So let's make it visible again, and if we go into objects and the FDS area, you will see that you have this panel that is going to be the most useful for this tutorial, but you will discover soon that BFDS has many other tabs that you can use to do other advanced stuff. So for this one, I'm gonna basically select the element. It's already selected there, and what I'm gonna be doing is to select this EXB box, and you will see that here you have a different possibility. Boundary box, it's useful when you have a geometry that is already a cube or something like that. In this case, we will need to use the voxel to discretize this space in different component, different cubes that can be imported into FDS. And you see here you have also the possibility to decide that the resolution 1000 millimeter, basically 10 centimeter, could be a good starting point. And what we need to do then is to show the geometry, and you'll see that this tab is gonna be open. We don't really need to see it. If we want to see the FDS code, there you are. All the work has been done to create a series of objects that are discretizing our roof slab. So it's already done. Now, if you want to repeat this function over and over, back in the day you were supposed to select every item and repeat this function again. Well, let's see how we can repeat this function using the copy tool just introduced by BFDS 7. It's really useful to save a lot of time. So what I'm gonna do here is hide the FDS geometry. So we are gonna have a clean visualization of the project. So we have already converted this slab. And if you want, you can basically press Ctrl Z and undo all the stuff that we have done and remove the FDS geometry for the slab. But if we click once again, it's gonna be all gone. So we are back to the original file. In this case, I'm gonna try to use the voxel only for the walls and roof and slab. And for windows and door, we are gonna use something different. So let's go and have a look at the trick that allow us to repeat the same setup using coping tool. That is a new feature introduced in BFDS 7. Thank you, Emanuele, for saving us a lot of time. So I'm gonna select the first element, and then I'm gonna do shift and select all the remaining elements in my hierarchy. So you can see that now I'm basically working on this section only on the default lab, but then we are gonna try to copy to all the other elements. So let's go and select exb, xb, and then voxel. Then what I'm gonna do is to copy to all the other elements. So you'll see that something's happening here. Let's click OK and go and see. You can see that the beautiful thing is that now we repeat the same setup for any other element that we're selecting together with the roof slab. So now we are gonna do the same work for the doors and for the windows. So in this case, I'm gonna use a different setup. I'm not gonna use voxel because the geometry is already good for use a boundary box. So let's go and see what we are gonna do. I'm gonna select the first opening and then shift, click to the last door. I'm gonna go here, select XB, and boundary box was already selected. The default setup is still there, and copy to all the others. So we have done the work for them, and the final part is for the window. I'm gonna select the first and then shift the last one so I can select all of them. As you can see here, I go in this panel, XB, then boundary box is okay, copy to, press OK, and if you start exploring all the others, you'll see that we have the same FDS property. So we are almost good to go. So the last step to save all the FDS code of this geometry is to save this file. I'm gonna save the Blender file first. I'm gonna go back to my working folder. I'm gonna call it BFDS test1 and save this Blender file. Then you need to go to File, Export. You will see that here, because of BFDS, you have the possibility to export the FDS file. And I'm gonna save it in the same working table, in the same working folder. We'll see in FDS, export it. So I'm back in my working folder, and this is the FDS file that has been just generated. I'm gonna go and see with my notepad what is inside, and you can see the beautiful results is already there. So you are almost good to go to keep going and run your first simulation for this specific building. So you can see that all the objects are here. They've been called with the original EFC file's name. You won't have any confusion to understand what they are trying to represent. You can see that in this case, the time simulation is only 1 second and there is something missing, the mesh. So in this case, for this scenario, we managed to discretize the full geometry using a cell of 10 centimeter. I will probably create a mesh that is at least 10 centimeter. But of course, to identify the right size of the mesh, there are different equation and rule of thumb that you need to consider. So make the right choice. I'm gonna quickly add the fire in this FDS simulation, just for the sake to have something fun to display to you and show that the FDS is up and running. You can do a lot of this editing of FDS file within BFDS. I'm gonna make a video just to show you how you can use all the other feature of this really beautiful tool. And let's go and have a look at the simulation together. So I managed to add another piece of geometry here with a vent and a burner on top to simulate a fire within this space. This is the visualization of the FDS geometry into smoke view, another free software for visualization results of FDS of CFast. So you can see that we can have a clue on how the geometry has been converted. And now if you want to see the results of my simulation that have been running for a few minutes, we need just to click with the right button of the mouse. I'm gonna go to 3D model, 3D smoke, soot density, and you will see that we got a nice simulation for us. You can see that the fire probably was pretty big. In fact, you can see that there is a lot of smoke cleaning up the whole room really quickly. So you can see here from the window that the fire layer is going down really quickly. So that's it, I guess, for today. So to summarize, today we managed to have a really exciting workflow that allow us to convert EFC files into FDS geometry. The beautiful things about this workflow is that it's using all open tools, so you don't need to spend anything to convert BIM data into FDS geometry. So thank you to all the developer behind all the awesome plugin, especially Emanuele Jesse for BFDS version 7. Thank you for supporting the community. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and as always, if you want to support this channel, you need just to press the like, subscribe button, the bell, and you know all the drill. So thank you for being with me, and looking forward to see you in the next episode. Bye for now.